Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I got a bit of a different video for you guys. We're going to be swapping out this exhaust on a 2019 Yamaha MT03 to a AliExpress KO Lightning full system. Pretty happy with the quality and the build of it. It's bloody $250, you know, it's couldn't ask for more really. So for the project, from what I can tell, you need a ratchet with a 12mm socket, 17mm crescent for your O2 sensor, 12mm one, 6mm Allen key, and a 4mm Allen key. Alright, so obviously this bike doesn't have the stock can on, but it's still got the cat and original headers. So first step is to take this bolt off. It's with your 12mm ratchet and 12mm crescent. So we get onto that. Careful not to lose that. Keep those because we'll be reusing them. I'm not sure about what that is, but it'll just be those. So next step would be, this is probably different on a stock exhaust, but 10mm. Just loosen up your clamp. Boom, that's off. You could pull those off if you really wanted to separate it from that, but we're not going to need that, so we'll just take it off in one whole piece and put it to the side. So next step is to either use your 6mm Allen key, or if you've got one to fit your ratchet, you can use it, make it probably a bit easier and a bit faster, because these will have a bit of torque on them. So, unscrew these, you've got to get it a 12mm bolt that's holding the cat in behind there. So, loosen that one in there. That one's fairly loose. You can always take it off and spin it like that, that's why Allen keys can be pretty fast as well. So now we need to get that bolt in there, you can see, one of the main mounting bolts. But before we do that, we'll unscrew your O2 sensor. Keep track of these, always put your bolts somewhere in order or whatever, that'll remind you which is which. So next thing, you want to unhook your O2 sensor from its little hooks, just carefully, just so you can twist it back up and it's not going to kink it in too many of one spot. If your bike's kind of old, this could be sort of welded in there, but as we untwist it, we sort of want to twist the whole wire so you're not twisting it in one place. Make sure it's not all kinking right at the bottom. You see it's sort of twisting up here now, which is what we want. Sweet, and that should unspin. Next, we'll grab a 12mm socket. Probably an extension will help at this point. Get in there a bit easier. You can always grab something to hook that up with a bungee cord or something, but we'll do it like this. So we'll just loosen that up for now. We don't want to take that right off because this whole system is all welded together. So next thing, we'll take this panel off here. I think also with the stock bike there must be a panel here or something, but this is a second-hand bike, new to us, so the other owner's obviously taken it off or lost it, or something's happened to it. So next thing is grab your 4mm Allen key, and you're going to take this little belly pan off. You shouldn't have much torque on them, so they should come undone fairly easy. Just a matter of spin them off. Keep track of them. And there's also another two on the opposite side. So there's another two, one here, one here. So hopefully they don't have too much torque, and just undo them like that. One. The other one's up and under here. Oh, it's got a bit bit stuck. Oh, there we go. I want to hold it because I think this will come loose now, so pull this. This should come free. You can put this plastic part on a nice soft towel or rag or somewhere out of the way where it's not going to get scratched and banged around. Pretty filthy at the moment, bike needs it clean, but it's alright. Right, so now we're going to take off the headers, so you're going to want your 12mm socket with probably an extension bit just to make it a bit easier to get up in there. These could be a bit welded on there if it's an older bike, but these seem to be not too bad. Just want to be careful because these nuts will be loose. You want to hold on to them. There will also be some little exhaust gaskets in there that may need replacing if your bike's done a lot of Ks, but in most cases you can generally reuse them. It's a bit of a pain in the ass job on bigger bikes because they have massive radiators, but this isn't too bad. And this will be your extension bit will come in handy to get up in between the pipes like so. What you want to do is just take off all four, and I'll come back once we've got these loose and off. Now they've got all four loose, these should just slide off like that, and then just slide them down, and that's the headers ready to be taken off. So there's also another one just up under the footrest here. So you've got an extension you can probably go through, but if your socket's not too big, it should just fit up and under there onto it like that. So just remember, there's only these two holding it, so just remember once you pull this out, there's only that other one just holding it by the thread, so you can either prop something under it to hold it up, or once we get this out we'll go around to the other side and try to prop it with our foot so it doesn't just drop onto the ground. There's that out. Keep this on this side of the bike or somewhere that you know which side it goes back into. So we'll jump around to the other side and unloosen that other one we loosened earlier. Right, so you can sort of come around and sit with your leg under the exhaust, make sure it's not hot or anything sort of like that, you're going to burn your leg, and just rest your leg under it. See how it's just swinging there at the moment? Just rest it with your leg, and we're going to loosen off this other bolt. Shouldn't need your ratchet since we've already loosened it. So if you lift up your little footrest and use your extension bit sort of like a screwdriver and undo it. So just hold that up like so. Sort of hold it with the other hand as well, like that, while using the other one. Bit of a juggling act, but like I said, you can always hang your footrest from a bungee cord. You do the last little bit with your hand, and there we go, it's just loose. What you're going to do is just nicely feed it out. Boom. There's your stock exhaust off. So here we'll do a weight comparison. If you want to do this yourself, you just got to weigh yourself, and then weigh yourself with the stock exhaust, and then weigh yourself with the aftermarket exhaust, and then just do your plussing and minusing from each one of your first weight. So yeah. First we'll be weighing the whole stock exhaust. So first you're just going to weigh yourself, and then weigh yourself with the exhaust. It's 103.3. 99.65. Alright, so the stock exhaust weighed 6.4 kilo, where the new one weighed 2.75 kilo, which is a saving of 3.65 kgs. So this is obviously doesn't have the stock exhaust on, so it may weigh slightly more, slightly less, but I'd say it'd be more with the stock exhaust. So yeah, time to install this beautiful looking thing. You recording?
Yeah.
Alright, so when you pull out the stock exhaust, you want to make sure these gaskets don't go with your old exhaust. This one here is hanging down, so if you can't seem to get it to stay up there like this little bugger's going to do, you can get a little dab of grease. So what you can do is just get a little bit of grease and put a few little dabs around it like so, and stick it back up in there. And that should hold it until we get the nuts back on. So the other one seems to be staying up in there nicely. Just stick that up in like so. And that'll hold it until we grab your header. Some exhaust systems will come both of these as one together. This one obviously has them separate, which makes your life a little bit easier. Sit it up in there and grab one of your little nuts and just hand screw these on because you don't want to cross thread them or anything silly. Just hand thread them on like that, and then get your little extension bit and just screw them on like so. Do each side a little bit at a time, just so you're not going to kink anything or do anything silly. And just repeat the process for the other side, and we'll come back once you've got these all nipped up. And I'll find out the torque for these nuts, and if you've got a torque wrench you can torque them down, or just do it to where you feel is right, but just don't do it too tight. Some people love to grab their socket and just swing off the end of it, but most nuts and bolts don't need that sort of torque. Right, come back once we've got the other side on. Alright, so they're both on there. We obviously haven't torqued them up or anything, but we just still want them a little bit loose for a little bit of play until we can get them positioned where we want them. So, next part is your Y pipe, your 2-in-1, which is held by your springs. So this is why we leave them loose. So the next thing is your little Y pipe. So leave them loose so you can obviously move them around to slot into place like so. Like that. Next thing you want to do is get your springs that will go from here to there to hold this all together. That's what you want to do, is get your spring. You can get some string stretcher, hook thing, or just get some pliers. Sit your needle through there. Oh my god. Springs can have a lot of tension on them. So if you've got your bike up on stands like we do, you might just want someone to hold the back of your bike while you stretch these with your pliers or whatever you've got to try hook it onto there. So I'll come back once we've got these hooked on, because it can be a bit of a mission. Alright, now that we've got these two springs on, we'll torque down your head gaskets, which want to be 15 Newton meters. So get your torque wrench set to 15 Newton meters and torque them up. Alright, so we're just torquing these up. Only 15 Newton meters, so it's not very much. And that's all you need on those. Right, so a lot of people say not to do this, but it's not going to hurt the engine for a split second. We're just going to do it straight piped out of the Y pipe. Part is to slide your D-cap pipe onto the Y pipe 2-in-1, put your spring on it. Next thing you want to do is get your O2 sensor and twist it back up before you screw it back in. So roughly about how much it twisted last time, you just want to remember. Twist it back up, make sure you're not twist it all the way up there, and twist it back into there. So once you've screwed in your O2 sensor, you just slide your end can on, hook on your two springs. That might be slightly loose. They give you two other sizes as well, but they felt quite tight, but seems quite solid on there. Next thing you want to do, grab your exhaust hanger and mount it with the two bolts provided, and there's also a step thing to step it out. So yeah, just use the screws provided and put your bracket on like that. I think that's the right way, because I don't think you want the exhaust sitting too close into your swing arm, so that gives a little bit of clearance out like so. It's just the bolt, nut and 2 washers on either side that's provided with the kit. So I've just left that top one all loose until we've got it all sort of positioned nicely to where we want it. So to me that all looks pretty nice and lined up, so we can give these a good tightening. Sweet. All installed, all bolted down. Is get some isopropyl alcohol or brake cleaner or something and just tip it on a rag and give your exhaust a nice thorough rub down, because you don't want your fingerprints or any oil or shitty marks getting burnt into it anyway. So just put it on a rag and just give it a good rub down all over your pipe. Good rub down all up your headers. You can either do the install with the gloves on as well, but it's still pay to make sure you give it a rub down. You never know if anybody else has touched it, or you know, you may have touched it while unboxing it before you thought. That seems to be pretty good. So I think it's time to screw your foot peg back on. You've got all your spare nuts that you will want to keep track of, or your catalytic converter hanging bolts and stuff. Keep them with your cat. You can either tape them into the spot they come into, or they should screw back in. So next step is to bolt your foot peg back on and bolt your little belly pan back on, and other than that you're pretty much good to go. So I'll do that later. We want to hear how this thing sounds, so let's start it up. It's been a couple of months now since we've installed the Care Lightning exhaust off AliExpress. Really happy with it. It's got a bit of a purpley, goldy tinge to it now. But for $250, I don't think you could go wrong. Definitely turns heads. People think it's a big bike coming, and then the little MT03 is rolling along. But no, it sounds awesome. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.